Hey everyone, thanks for joining. Of course, back here with Jerome. I know people loved him the first time. I saw a lot of questions. We will do a Q&A coming up, but today I want to do a deep dive into Brane, get a lot of questions just in general about the company. So we're going to let Jerome pitch it to us. And then we've got a few questions just in general about crypto custody. But first things first, Jerome, how are you?
Good, Jason. Great to be here as always. It's interesting times indeed.
Yeah, winter's gonna come quick, so enjoying as much of this good weather as we can. But here, let's dive into it. I want to kick it off. Why don't I say we walked into the elevator on the 50th floor of whatever, and I ask you, tell me about Brane. Give me the pitch.
Yeah, Brane's a really interesting company because we're kind of at the intersection of financial services and technology. And our primary mission is keeping digital assets safe. We do that with proprietary technology that we use to provide custody through either qualified custodial services where we actually manage crypto assets for investment managers, family offices, etc. Or we also take our technology and offer a licensed SaaS-based solution to large institutions that want to manage their crypto themselves, but need the Brane technology to power them to do that.
Yeah. Hey, pretty clear. All right, sounds interesting. I know a lot of people, obviously everyone sees all these questions, hacks, this and that. Do you want to dive into maybe some of the solutions in a tiny bit more detail? And I know you guys have a few. We'll go into them. We'll answer questions in future videos, but maybe you want to give us an overview and maybe talk through even an example, no name basis, or just how it might work.
Yeah, so if you think about what custody is really safekeeping of an asset. And so where Brane comes in is, if you think about all of the investors that are looking to get into this asset class, and Brane probably is a B2B institutionally focused custodian. Asset managers, for example, like an ETF and a portfolio manager, they all want the ability to buy and sell crypto, but they need a place to keep it and store it and make sure it's held safely. Right now, the solutions range from exchanges out there or even wallets. So what we've brought is an institutional solution that essentially mimics custodians and traditional securities like BNY Mellon, State Street, where their sole focus is on receiving digital assets that are bought and sold on exchanges, managing them safely, and then allowing those asset managers to have full visibility on what they actually hold. We do things like segregated accounts, custom reporting, things like that all portfolio managers or investment managers want to see, but it also allows them to give their own clients visibility on the holdings that they have. We have this rich suite of reporting functionality where, similar to how you would look at your online securities portfolio and get charts on market values and performance data, we can do all of that inside of our custody vault and provide that to asset managers, investment dealers, et cetera, who have their own end clients. On the other spectrum, we take the same technology that we use in custody, and we turn it over to financial institutions. And we allow financial institutions like banks, for example, or credit union that needs access to this technology and wants to offer it to their end clients. Let's say the ability to offer clients access to crypto so that they can put it inside of an RRSP alongside a traditional RRSP or a savings product. So our technology is so flexible, we can now license this out to financial institutions. And the risk controls that we have built in to the technology are really quite adaptable. So, for example, one of the core pillars of how we keep assets safe is this whole technology around multi-signatory control. So, for any one transaction to settle into or out of our vault, we have flexibility to allow clients and their multiple parties at client institutions like a bank or an asset manager to designate authorized signatories on a transaction. So what that allows is distribution of risk so that there's no single point of failure to authorize a transaction. So for example, we can set up an asset manager to have 3 different parties sign off on a transaction. One of them could be Brane, and as custodian, but 2 or 3 of them could be other members of that asset manager. So the flexibility in the multi-sig protocol allows us to then customize the solution in a way that, for example, banks can take advantage of this and have compliance officer, even a VP opening an account, all have this ability to instantly authorize a crypto transaction, so that now you've got really rich controls that sit around the custody solution, which ensures the safety of those assets.
Yeah, no, awesome. And I'll take this page. I'll give credit. A lot of great questions. People saying this is kind of the future, especially in mainstream adoption for crypto, is you start to have banks able to show it, able to assist their clients, able to get more people involved, and really able to insure crypto, which is incredible. And kind of wanted to go into the next stage of that, and we'll talk about kind of the evolution of the crypto world and kind of the products that banks could offer because of this technology. And I'll leave the kind of video with this. Someone and people asking questions around why Brane and why can't someone else or the bank themselves develop something like this? I'm curious what kind of, IP, and if you can talk to that angle, and what are the barriers to entry for someone else to do this?
Yeah, so Brain's got all proprietary technology and code that we've built over 4 years. Having run a US bank's Canadian operation and international operations of a Canadian bank, I can most certainly tell you that banks really are not the best place to build this. What banks typically do with this kind of a technology is that they'll wait and partner with fintechs like Brane and eventually perhaps buy them. We've seen that time and time again in all of the new fintech segments, whether that be robo-advisory or any of the new emerging technologies. What's particularly challenging for banks with this particularly on blockchain and crypto, is that it's brand new rails. It's not an incremental build on existing bank infrastructure. This is brand new for banks, and so it's very difficult for banks to move quickly and also understand the risks and how to think about risks. So what Brane has done is brought in really strong leadership that come from global banks. Like one of our board members is Dave Ravel, who is former global CIO of CIBC. And he'll tell you off the bat that banks will never build this. They will look to partner with companies like Brane, who have been razor focused on this technology for many, many years. And then we're also much more agile in developing new products with banks and financial services in mind. For example, we launched in Canada the first crypto lending collateral product in Canada. So what that now allows us to do is let banks and lenders write loans, originate loans with their end clients, taking crypto held in Brane vault under custody as collateral. So this unlocks incredible amounts of liquidity for the borrower, who is potentially holding the crypto over a long term, but they still need near-term liquidity. So now they can borrow from a traditional lender. And it also opens up tremendous origination volume, new origination volumes for banks and other commercial finance companies that are saying, hey, I can actually underwrite a loan. I could do a loan to value assessment and underwrite a loan against Bitcoin or any other digital asset that's being held in a Brane vault. What's really interesting is Brane's reporting functionality. We can do rich reporting to borrowers and lenders so that if the value of the collateral drops in any material way, there can be things like margin calls where the borrower has to top up the collateral. And so we're really good at innovating with banks and financial institutions in mind. But underneath all of this is core capabilities of keeping the crypto safe and then finding ways to put it to work through some of these new ways of monetizing them on behalf of our clients.
Yeah. And I want to kind of mention too, and I saw someone else say this, but very true. You guys have the management team behind you with the relationships, with, again, these kind of, I would say, experience behind you guys, as well as the perfect tech. And you know what banks are looking for, you know what they want to see, you know how to fit in. So I think that's a big part that kind of sets you guys apart. And I know anyone can maybe put together a team, great. But can you put together a team like this as early as this with the tech behind you guys? I think that'd be extremely hard. So again, congratulations. Sounds like things are going well, and appreciate you taking the time to do this video. Anything else about Brane you wanted to squeeze in here before we hop off?
No, Brane's on a mission to keep digital assets safe. And what's interesting is now our brand is sort of so well known that we're getting a significant amount of interest from traditional financial institutions in Canada. But also what's exciting is we're getting international interest. We've gotten in this last month alone interest from the US, in many parts of the US, even Latin America and Europe. So
Oh,
we
wow.
are increasingly, have our eyes on a global customer base and pretty excited about the future.
Yeah, awesome. Well, Jerome, thanks so much for joining. Want to invite anyone with questions about Brane or things you want to see in future videos, drop it below and we'll definitely get to it. But again, Jerome, thanks for joining.
Thanks, Jason. My pleasure.